thanks for joining me again today in another video for my Sketch to Scrap Saturday video series. So for today I've got this sketch for you which contains one photo, and this is going to be, I'm going to be using a 4x6 photo. I printed this on, I printed a photo on a selfie photo printer. And so it's slightly smaller than 4x6. I also printed that with border as well, so you can see the white border around it. I'm going to be mainly using the pattern paper from the Bloom collection from Maggie Holmes crepe paper. And I'm also going to be, I guess, supplementing that with a bunch of embellishments, including the Elliot Wood Story Wild Story Kit labels. And another thing that I want to note is one of the reasons why I actually really want to do this page is because I really want to play with my new tool, which is I recently purchased a pair of, I guess, French scissors, French cut scissors, which means that you essentially have multiple blades and you can cut almost like a frilly pattern paper. You know, you cut pattern paper which has a frill on the bottom, almost tassel-like. And yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I'm doing here is just looking through a bunch of pattern paper from the 12 by 12 paper pad. And I'm just cutting it up. I'm actually going to be using this kind of wood grain pattern paper as almost like a backing for my photo. And I'm just measuring this up. To be honest, I don't really measure in terms of, the size of pattern paper. I'm happy to go with whatever it looks right. And I just start cutting from a bit too big and then slowly cutting that down into the size that I want. And then I'm just going to be using a few more pieces of pattern paper to provide, to come up with, to add a few strips of pattern paper underneath it. And I'm just going through choosing a bunch of pattern paper here, to be honest. I'm kind of going for something relatively not plain, but almost a little bit simple. Mainly, and I guess the reason for that is because I'm kind of using this crepe paper collection, so it's kind of muted color that I'm going for. And I'm just cutting that up to size and then measure up the strips of pattern paper. And then I'm also going to be using this pattern paper which came in the Hip Kit Club. I believe this one is from February 2016 kit, and the paper itself is from Pink Paisley. And then I'm also going to be using this almost a watercolor pattern paper which is from the Bloom collection as well. I'm going to be using that as another, I guess, a big piece of pattern paper that's at the bottom. What I'm going for is, I guess, two pieces of pattern paper which have kind of less pattern, I guess, on it, just so that, and then on top I want the feature of that top part to be my photo and the bottom part to be the journaling that I'm going to put on, and also the title. So I don't want it to be too busy. And now just going through a pattern paper once again, just to seeing which one I want. As I said before, I want to go for something quite muted. I already got that black piece of pattern paper, which is essentially part of the almost a connector strip that is on the top. So I decided to use that one mainly because otherwise it'll go away. So I decided to just use that as well. And also cutting a few more strips, to be honest. I think if I were to guess, they are around maybe about 7 by 1.5 inches maybe. And now I'm just using my French cutting scissors that are purchase. As I said before, I bought it online. I think they're about $5. You know, free delivery and everything. So I saw that online and I thought I really, really want one. So I remember that Martha Stewart used to actually sell these scissors, but we can't get them anymore in Australia. I remember we used to really get it at Spotlight, which is, for some of you who live in, for many of you who live in the US, I guess it's like Michael's. And because of that, so I went online, looked at eBay, and I found these and I bought them. So I'm super excited about using them, and I really like how it's almost a way to create your own embellishment. So yeah, so I'm just sticking that the photo down. I'm kind of slowly doing that at the moment because I want to make sure that they all fit together well, and because I don't really have a kind of a size in mind, so I kind of just go stick a little bit down and then stick another piece down, then stick another piece down, and just kind of go for it that way. And I'm just using my tape runner, which is from, I think it's This and That, which is from American Crafts. So I believe American Crafts came out with a newer version of these tape runners, which I think it's called Sticky Thumb, I believe, but in Australia, where I get my stuff from, which is Spotlight, they're still selling these all This and That. So and to be honest, I still have a few in my stash, just mainly because every time when they're like 40% off, I just buy a bunch of them. So and now I'm just going through sticking that down. I'm kind of going for a messy look, a little bit on an angle here, angle there, one left, one right, and trying to make sure that the space on the top and on the right are all kind of symmetric. There's no real, I don't really measure it, but you can use eyes and then just kind of think, that looks about right. I'm also trying to avoid having kind of white space as a gap behind one of these strips as well, so that's another aim of mine. As you can see there, I didn't actually French cut the whole piece of pattern paper. There was only one piece of pattern paper which I cut the whole lot. The other two I cut on one side, and I actually quite like having almost that as a balancing, kind of trying to balance the page that way. And the next thing you see me doing here is, as you can see, there's almost like a white spot behind one of the strips, so I decided to cut up another piece of pattern paper and kind of go underneath to kind of cover up that white space. And yeah, so that's essentially, that would be it for all the strips of pattern paper that I'm going to be using. I'm just roughing part of that up a little bit as well, just so that it feels a bit more, gives a bit more dimension. And now I'm just sticking down my my title. I'm actually going to be using the thickest from Amy Tan, and I believe they're actually called Today. I actually bought two. I bought them in. They actually come in two colors. I actually bought both of them. One craft color, as you can see here, and another one in black. I decided to go with a black one because I felt like the craft color one just didn't give enough that pop of color. It didn't pop out of the page enough, I guess. And I'm also going to be using these strips of labels, I guess, that are from Hollywood Story stamp, and this one is from the Wild Story Kit. So it's Wild Story Kit, and so the title says Live Right, and I'm also going to be using a stamp to stamp down the word now, just so it's essentially talking about live right now, and I'm just going to be creating a list of essentially things that are right now. And I think it's kind of one of those things that I like the idea of, just mainly because we tend to scrap about exciting things, etc., which is great, but sometimes live right now is one of those things that would be interesting in a couple of years' time to I guess remember as well. And now I'm just going through a bunch of all my story stamps that are from Elliott Woods. So I subscribe to the story stamp, and I'm just using the one I'm using here is, I believe, is called Little. No, actually, this one is from Old and New. Thank you. This one is called Old and New, and that's why I stamped the word now 3 times. And now I'm also going to be stamping a number from 1 to 5, and this stamp set is actually from the Little Things. So both of them are from Elliott Woods Story stamp, and the one that says now is from Old New, and this one is from Little Things. To be honest, if you have any, you know, one of those little stamp sets that that has number 1 to 5, that would be fine too. I'm just stamping that using my VersaFine black ink. As I said, for if some of you have watched my video for, you know, that's my go-to ink. To be honest, I had it for years. As you can see, it's an old kind of version of the VersaFine kind of container, but it's still working really well. And now I'm just going through the bunch of embellishments that I've got in my stash, and I'm just looking through the crepe paper one, and this one I believe it's called Poolside. And yeah, I just pulled out 2 pieces of like die cut pieces, and using some foam dots to pop these up. I recently purchased these foam dots from my local scrapbooking store, and they are a bit smaller than the dimensional Stampin' Up! Dimensionals which I normally use, and I think they work quite well. I don't have to cut them up, so that works. That's a lot easier for me. And now just popping out this label as well, which I'm going to be writing the kind of recording the date of this photo. And now I'm just thinking what I'm going to do with the journaling spots here. Essentially, it's just going to be thinking about 5 things that, you know, are right now. And I think the first thing was the fact that we're going into winter, even though the clothes seems like, you know, it's actually almost wearing summer clothes, but it's actually, we are, I think, in the middle of autumn at the time. And so I'm going to winter, so it's getting cold, and, you know, my obsession with Lululemon and, you know, ice cream, where we get our ice cream from, even though it's winter. Are the things what we love right now, to be honest, and those are the things that I want to record. And now the next thing I'm going to do is I want to kind of just do a bit of embellishment on the, I guess, on the left, top left, and also the right as well. So I decided to go with these kind of journaling stickers. I believe this one is actually from the Shine collection from Maggie Holmes. So these are the, I guess, the stickers that came as part of that line. I'm also sticking down these 3 word phrase stickers, and they say, I think they said beautiful, all the joy, and you and me. So I thought that's cool. And I'm also going to be sticking down a kind of a cork geotag with this glossy accent, and so directly on top of that as well. And that's it. Here is the sketch once again. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give a thumbs up so I know that you enjoyed it. I'll be posting this sketch on my blog, which is eatscrapbake.wordpress.com, and here are some close-up. If you want YouTube to let you know when my next video comes out, please subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!